Question 1. What drew you to the early childhood profession? What drew me into the early childhood field and community and education was the pure passion of being able to work with young children and develop with them and learn along with them. And it started really young, as I always enjoyed playing with the younger neighbor kids, taking care, nurturing, little simple things like that. And then throughout grade school, funny enough, I would stay in from recess just so I could help around the classroom, do classroom tasks. I would grade things, file, all the little teacher things, erase the things on the board and whatnot. And that was something I always loved. I enjoyed. I would rather do that than go to recess most days. But my first real introduction as kind of more of an adult into this field was when I was 16 years old, and I started working at a preschool. After it was like my after school and their after school program, and I kind of prepped, planned activities, and I had children from ages 3 to 6. They were kinder. They were preschool to kinder. So within that age group, I really got to know and found that true passion with these kids, and seeing those aha moments and being able to scaffold with them so that they can understand bigger topics or larger concepts throughout the year, that kind of long term, was extremely fulfilling. And it wasn't something I really expected. I was going to work for a friend's mom, a little high school job, and that was a really pivotal point for myself. I was going to college, and then I had to make some decisions. And going back to that moment, as I did start my college journey, I tried all sorts of things. I tried to be a computer scientist. I wanted to be, a firefighter. I had all sorts of ideas. And it always, always, always circled back to me being in a classroom. I always had that passion of wanting to help the youth and be that positive impact in our society. And it really starts with our kids. And I recognize that from a really young age. Question 2. What do you consider to be your chief responsibilities as an early childhood professional? Personally, I believe my main responsibility is to create a nurturing, safe environment for these children to be in and be taken care of. That's also developmentally appropriate, engaging, and it really fosters a sense of learning for them, is my main responsibility. And to go along with that, there's all sorts of things like proper development. As an educator, I have that background knowledge of milestones, signs of not hitting those milestones, potential disabilities, and all those things, and being able to recognize that and counteract it as soon as possible really creates a positive environment that all children are able to thrive in and can build that good, solid foundation to their life and to learning. Um, and that kind of goes into also having individualized care. As we know, every single person is different, and that doesn't change in children. And being able to cater and scaffold and bring in support for children is crucial. Is very imperative for me to know these children, know their strengths, know their weaknesses, and be able to support their weaknesses, but also to celebrate those strengths and really embrace those strengths and get as much done with those. And those weaknesses can kind of be intertwined and whatnot with that. And another big responsibility as we're taking care of these kids, making sure they're developmentally on track, healthy, all this and that, is creating positive relationships with their family and their parents. Because especially at a super young age with these little babies, these parents could be new being parents. They don't, there's a lot of unknown territory. And working with young kids and having that knowledge of college, of development, and all this that I can bring to families and really build that connection and give them opportunities too to be involved in my classroom and be involved in their child's education, give them strategies to use at home, activities to do at home, really fostering that school home connection. I think that's a huge responsibility, as that brings in parents, involves them in their education. They see what's going on with their little kiddo, but also that gives me support, and I can get a good background knowledge of each child and what they are all about, what they love, what they hate, what works for them. Question 3. What is the role of collaboration in professional practice? Address collaboration with other professionals as well as families. The role of collaboration in early childhood really goes into providing the best possible, highest quality care for the children in that classroom. And being able to do that with other professionals, they have other knowledge for different practices, maybe delays, physical, intellectual, they have all this deeper education in these practices, where if I'm noticing something just developmentally, is I can bring these ideas, these thoughts, these concerns to other professionals, be like, hey, I don't know how to help this child. Do you have any ideas? And being able to bounce back and forth on what could work for this child, what won't work, what is appropriate, what will, support them in meeting goals and hitting these standards. So being able to collaborate with other professionals really is key in providing the best care, because not everyone can know everything. And being able to rely on other people and, come up with a whole solution for a child that is comprehensive of my knowledge of them, specialists' knowledge, and along with their families and the knowledge their families bring to us as well. Because while building partnerships with families is just as important as the collaboration with other professionals, is building that partnership, it allows us to get a background knowledge of the child, what they see at home, what kind of behaviors, what their concerns are, what their goals are. We get to really dive into and have that relationship with these families, so we can dive deeper into this education for these children, and how to support them and how to motivate them is really crucial in being able to promote a good foundation of learning for them. And bringing in, collaborating, building that partnership with families, collaborating with other professionals gives me the opportunity as their teacher to provide the best care possible for them. Question 4. What strategies do you routinely utilize to ensure that you are critically reflecting on your own growth as an EC professional? The strategy I use most routinely and most often is through conversation and asking questions and getting feedback from other teachers, from my admin, from families, from the students, from whoever I can receive feedback from. I seek that out. And I seek it out through conversation. Is I like to talk about it. I like to, hear you out and, hear what's going on, or, I want to talk. I have something to say. It's been on my mind. Can't stop thinking about it. Can we talk about it? For me, having that conversation with somebody and being able to bounce back and forth, it gives me the opportunity to keep moving. And what I mean by that is, when I do get kind of stuck in reflection physically on a piece of paper, my computer, anything like that, I get really zoned in on the one thing I wasn't doing very well. And I want to fix that. And that's the only thing I can focus on, is how I'm going to fix that and how can I make that better, and only that. Where through conversation, I've noticed that if I do have a concern with one thing, it tends to lead to more conversations on other aspects of teaching and these children and, what could be going on and all this and that, where first being able to talk to somebody and collaborate in that way and bounce ideas, see their experiences and, have that feedback from them, but also ask them critically, hey, I need true feedback. I feel like I am failing in my classroom right now and I can't figure out why. And being able to take the criticism can be hard, can be really hard. Question 5. Briefly describe an issue that might be a focus of current or future advocacy efforts and explain why advocacy is a hallmark of professionalism in the early childhood field. A current issue in the early childhood field is the access to high quality education for these young kids. No matter their abilities, socioeconomic status, is providing that access and availability to a high quality education is crucial in not only their personal education and life journey to be able to thrive, but as a society as a whole. And if we start to really take a look at where it begins to become proper, good, functioning humans in our society, it starts at the earliest stages on how we communicate with each other, how we look out for each other, how we care for each other. And providing that to children, we provide a more welcoming, enriching society later down the road. That helps society, but also these children who need these extra supports earlier in life to receive that early intervention, so later in their life they're not impacted as heavily or affected as heavily or don't feel these long-term effects that may never go away. Where with early intervention, they can be combated and it can be resolved before it becomes a big issue later down in their life. And advocating in early childhood, especially as a professional, it really shows your dedication and commitment to the work you're doing. And it doesn't go just for one child, it goes for all children and all children that need proper education, they need proper care, they need food, they need all of these very basic needs. And being an advocate in early childhood for these needs, for these wants, and is huge. It shows how much you care about what you do, how much you truly do care about the work you're putting in for young children, what they have to offer. You are valuing what they have to offer, and you want to be able to provide the most you can for them. And being able to advocate for that is putting your heart on your sleeve for them. You show that you care. You show that you want to do the best you possibly can. And by advocating for better practices, better funding, better anything that is for these children, it goes to show you're taking more of your time, your effort, your passion for this job and for these children outside of working hours. Because when you're at school, you're with the kiddos. You're with them all day long. You can't get rid of them. You get to hang out with them. But to be able to advocate for them is in time when they're not there. And you're still thinking about them, you still care about them, you still want the best, and you want the best for society.